Hey, IDS 301, Fall Session A 2020. How you doing? My name is Michael Fair. I'll be your host. Um, and thought I'd get this class rolling right away, seeing I'm getting some emails about the first video. I do all the videos individually for each class, each module. That way I can, tailor my videos to whatever the latest and greatest is, right? I don't want you to see, stale pre-pandemic videos because, what's that like? So this is like kind of like having a class, I've got a great 301 group here. There's a lot of you, just FYI. And I would suppose this is your first venture into the IDS portion of interdisciplinary studies. By the way, IDS is what, we'll usually call it because it's a mouthful to say it. I've got 26, 36, 42, 52, 54. 54 right now. There's still 6 open seats, so it's a nice crowd. It's a big group. I didn't have this many in the summer. Now, okay, so here's the deal. I'm doing this from my apartment, obviously. All right, I don't go to campus. I have a son, 20-year-old, Barrett Honors College history major, uh, and he and I decided to get a place and stick around here. Um, it's kind of a one-sided conversation. My videos are going to last between 15 and 30 minutes twice a week. You get 5 points by sending me the Easter eggs, which I will disperse usually early, middle, and end. You'll get the hang of it like my classes do, and hopefully it'll be something that helps you get through this class and to have a little face to the class and understand and hopefully know that I'm accessible. I'd appreciate being called Prof. Fair, Professor Fair. That's fine. I'm not a full professor. I'm not tenure tracked. I do not have a PhD. Okay. But I have everything else, and the appropriate term is Professor Fair. So, Mike, Michael, not yet. After you're done with my classes, then that's great. Okay. So, all right. Let's talk about. I just want to introduce myself, I guess. Michael Fair. The spelling, while it is important to get right, Feyrer, makes no sense to me, and I wish I'd have changed it when I was younger, but that's the way it goes. Um, I've had, let me put it this way: if I don't connect with you individually in some way, it's disappointing to me because I've got such a wide-ranging history. I typically can connect with all my students. Um, I had a lot of different jobs, a lot of different careers. Okay, it started with me working at Miller Brewing Company out of high school. In high school, I had a point 0.8 GPA in my junior year, yet I graduated, just so you know, so I sucked. Um, I went to work at a Miller Brewing Company in Milwaukee. That means you're done, you're set for 47 years. I quit. I hated factory work. My dad didn't talk to me for 6 months. Blah, blah, blah. On we go. Okay, so I was Milwaukee, Wisconsin is my hometown. You'll probably detect the accent. Nothing I can do about that. That's where I usually spend my summers, but because of this pandemic, I'm here. Okay, so I have been I mean, you kind of name it, I've done it. Let's talk about business. I've been a district manager for a newspaper. I've been a senior account manager in technology sales. I still have a side gig on that. I've pulled in $5 million a year revenue in sales, and I was named to the President's Club through one company, and I've been successful in that area. In 2010, the economy kind of crashed on me a little bit. Um, but over the years, in no particular order, I've done management and sales. I've been a entrepreneur in terms of starting my own art. I was a photographer and freelance artist. If you look at my bio, I've worked with Amnesty International and bonos1.org. I did a freelance photo trip to Ghana and West Africa in 2007, and that's kente cloth. And I recorded some of their 50th Independence Day. I went to college when I was 33 the first time, and Marquette University and Milwaukee Area Technical College. I liked it, but I had a family to raise, so I quit. I got into law enforcement. I was a sergeant for Milwaukee County. I worked out here in Maricopa County as well. Um, so you got business, you got law enforcement, which business, you understand a lot of the concepts and techniques in business. Um, Law enforcement, chain of command, writing reports, legalities, and such. I've been an artist. I've sold my art, um, and that really freaked me out. But I've sold my art. I was the featured artist for the 2000, I think 11 and 12 uh, Emancipation, Juneteenth Day here in Phoenix. Uh, but I did a lot of different work. Okay, I worked on farms. I've worked driven tractor. I've done shoe repair, travel agent. Like I said, mostly management, law enforcement, art. I've been a writer. I've been a reporter. So I got skills. But I kind of kept changing, and little did I know then in 2010, when the said economy crashed, I decided I'm going back to college. I was 52 at the time, and I thought, well, why not? Let's see what happens. I can at least get a deferment on old student loans I was stuck with. Now, let me tell you, I've raised my sons myself 24/7, 365 since 2005. um, so I've got that single parent kind of thing going. I've got the mature student thing going. I've got the single parent, going to college, working. I took some art history classes initially, and then decided to go to Arizona State, and I took this thing called interdisciplinary studies. My concentrations were African American studies and human rights. At that time, I had been volunteering for a couple of years with Lutheran Social Services of the Southwest in terms helping being a mentor, advisor, and teacher to recently resettled refugees. I thought maybe I'd get into that eventually. And what happened was I did really well in my undergrad, graduated in 2013 with my Bachelor's of Interdisciplinary Studies, at that time housed in the College of Letters and Sciences at ASU. I graduated summa cum laude. I was named the Graduate of the Year for the Colleges of Letters and Sciences in 2013, as well as the Academic of the Year in African American Studies. That's the Leonard Bolin Johnson Award. I was very proud of those accomplishments. And in fact, my oldest son was going to college the same time I was. So I think that's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to skateboard by your dad on campus when he's going to class. So I got accepted to Howard University in Washington, D.C., pulled my young son out of eighth grade. We went to Maryland, stayed 2 weeks, decided to come back. Being the single dad that I was, I wanted to keep my small nucleus of a family together. So I came back here and I did a Master of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies at ASU West Campus in the new college. And things have changed quite a bit, but I graduated in 2016 with a 4.0. And in the meantime, I had a mentor in the undergrad. Some of you might know him, Dr. Michael Presdia, who designed this course with me, or I did it with him. And he encouraged me to apply to teach as an adjunct. I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. I guess all these different jobs paid off. And I got hired as an adjunct. A year later, in 2017, I was hired full time. So this is, I think, my fourth go round this year. I love my work. I plan on doing it forever. I'm a have been a digital nomad since 2018. My son and I went to Europe for 2 months. I taught from there, traveled through 6 countries, came back. He moved into the dorm. I lived on the road in my new Jeep and had a great time. And then COVID struck, got him out of the dorms, and we're stuck in an apartment until next May, and it's 115, and I despise it with every fiber of my being. So, I guess that's my history. If anybody wants to hear any more about anything, shoot me an email. Um, Interdisciplinary studies really worked for me because I did have such a varied background that I was able to integrate many of the skills that I've learned and acquired to move into this position, really, and as well as deal with a lot of things in life. Uh, a lot of my students are my 301 and 302. It's the same textbook, by the way. And my goal for any interdisciplinarian is that you become a better consumer of knowledge, because hopefully you'll leave here and you'll be a better critical thinker, open-minded, however, critical thinker. Okay, so that's a goal there. No class is one size fits all. So there's many things about this course that you might hate, you might love, you might be totally apathetic about. I get it. I go through my evaluations closely, and I will ask you to do an evaluation at the end of the course. You should do them. It's really helpful to me because I get to see, not only the pats on the back, whoop-de-doo. I like that. I appreciate it immensely. But I like to look at what some of the weaknesses of the class are. So it says, what suggestions would you offer to make this course and instructor more efficient? For the 301, I noticed that it was kind of the amount of work, or some people thinking it was busy work. Some said they didn't think it was teaching them anything. I can address all those. Again, these are individuals. We've only taught this, I'm the one that's taught this course the way it's laid out. I did it January through March earlier this year. So we don't have a big track record on it, but it's a huge improvement over how it was previously taught as far as we're concerned. Dr. Prisdia and I went through last winter and we kept redesigning this thing. We decided on this text because, as you can see, it's not overwhelming, it's comprehensive. Um, it puts together a lot of the important information that's in the entire field by the so-called experts or the spokespeople in the field. So you're going to learn a lot about that, okay? You're probably coming into this interdisciplinary studies either A, because you kind of know what it is and you wanted to give it a shot, great, or maybe you didn't make the grade in a different college or school, and you kind of got stuck into here. Or maybe you're out of high school and your parents just said take something. I don't know. Let me tell you what this is not, okay? This is not a double major. It's not a major and a minor. Okay, you have two concentrations, but our goal here and the difference between interdisciplinary studies and anything else that I just mentioned is integration. We integrate, we endeavor to integrate the disciplines. And it's a tricky thing. You'll know it when you see it. Sometimes interdisciplinary studies is like grasping the water out of the faucet. It's hard to get. But I want your feedback during the course. Anything not clear, because this course, in my opinion, deals with setting you up with the foundational material in IDS so that you can defend it to your friends, relatives, family. When I was in interdisciplinary studies back in 2014, I think it was, we had a family reunion, and I have a cousin and her husband who were, big shots, PhDs. They were working in the school district, judges, something, whatever. And they were like, "Oh yeah, I heard you went back to college. Yeah, you're taking this interdisciplinary studies, and that's when you." And he said, "That's when you throw shit against the wall and see what sticks, right?" And frankly, I didn't have a good answer, a good reply. You know, I couldn't say, "Hey, the jerk store's calling. They're running out of you," Seinfeld. Okay, but um, I want you to have that. I want you to have your elevator pitch. I want you to know what differentiates you from the animals out there. No, it differentiates you from a typical degree. If you've got business and communication, which is real popular, two concentrations, how does that set you up as an advantage between someone who just has communication, just has business? We'll get into those things, okay? I'm at 14 minutes already, so sorry. Okay. So this course came about by us trying to uh, make it better. I mean, I'll explain as I go along, but just know that I reserve the right to tweak it to your advantage, okay? All right, we're going to talk about due dates and things like that, all right? Do not take advantage of me on due dates, but my policy is we're dealing with real life, every one of us. We've got things going on in this pandemic we never thought would happen, okay? I lost my mother over the summer. Some other people had their houses burned down. Other people, my students, it just was overwhelming for us. So I ask you this, if you're going to turn something in late after the due date, you just let me know. You shoot me an email. You don't have to come up with an excuse. You can just tell me. Why do I do it like that? Because A, That means that I know that you know that it's coming. You're not just kind of in a fog out there not doing it. You know it's got to be done, but just can't get to it right now. Okay? Tell me when you're going to get to it. That's all I ask. All right? Now, I set up due dates in a chronological order because, as George Carlin once said, Mother Nature created time so that everything doesn't happen at once. Something to that effect. Okay? So if I just make everything due the last day of the module, people are just going to jump in and try to do it. And then they're, oh my God, you should have more due dates, less due dates. So, yes, one of the critiques is typically, oh, there's so many due dates. It's a chronological course. If you can't get something done, you email me, tell me when you're going to get it done. That's what I'm asking you. You can do that all the way until October 9th, and that's when the course ends, and there is no more of that. Okay. So, let's get into, this is all general. The course is 1,000 points. There's 1,050 available. There's an extra credit opportunity in the portfolio. We can talk about that at some point, but it's typically 1,000 points. It's straight A, B, C, D, E, okay? Or E, N, E, U, depending. But 900 above A, 800 and 899 B, 700, 799 C, etc. Right? Okay. I am still, like, I look at these courses, we move them from one session to another in case there's little mistakes or anything. Just let me know if a link doesn't work. Okay. If something doesn't download, just let me know. Okay. Don't just blow it off. Please let me know. You'd be surprised. Sometimes I give extra points. Somebody lets me know something's wrong. Okay. All right. Please get in and digitally sign the academic integrity agreement. It's important because you're not going to plagiarize, right? And cheat. Um, do the syllabus quiz. Very easy. Look at the syllabus. Okay. Get the text. There is an ebook available. Check the syllabus. Okay. If you can't find something, let me know. All right, Easter eggs. Let's go to Easter egg number 1. God, 17 minutes in. Okay, Easter egg number 1 is ask your instructor. Easter egg number 1 is ask your instructor. I typically don't repeat them too much, but that's what it is. Write it down. Okay, so we're going to get into the learning materials. I'm doing this really general now because I don't want to drag it out too long. But learning materials, you're going to read about 40 pages, okay? 40 pages. You can do it, okay? The formatting, we're going to talk more about that, but it's based on, look at Purdue OWL, APA formatting. We're not going to do every little microscopic part of formatting there, but I will tell you what's important, just so you know, because it is important, all right? Academic scholarly writing is different than emails, different than writing a novel. It's different, and we're going to get into that, all right? Read about doing well on discussion boards. Read about active reading. This is something we put in there. It's a lot of reading, kind of, but go through it and see what works for you, right? The extra credit portfolio. Introduce yourself to that so that you know if you might want to do that towards the end of the class, right? Okay, so your musical introduction is due. It's a discussion board. It's due August 22nd. And try to get that in. The instructions are clear. It cracks me up now because I used to get like songs that were familiar with me, videos that I was familiar of. Now it's like my grandpa used to listen to the Eagles, and this is, oh my God. So I don't recognize your music, but I like seeing what you got going on. And sometimes people surprise me. You're not graded on your choice. Just read the instructions, okay? August 24th is another discussion board, you and interdisciplinary studies, and we'll get into that. Easter egg number 2, IDS equals integration. IDS equals integration. I'm gonna hammer that into you. In fact, there's one comment here that says that it's a big long critique, and he says, I will now remember that IDS equals integration though, exclamation point. So I will hammer that in because I believe that that's the clearest trigger for you to remember what IDS is and how it differentiates. Equals integration. Interdisciplinary studies is a field of learning, right? Integration is the process we use to get our interdisciplinary studies. So IDS equals integration, even though one is field, one is a process. But if you remember IDS equals integration, you're going to go a long way towards starting to conceptualize what exactly you got yourself into here, okay? All right, the Tanner model. This book is written by Marcus Tanner. We have a Tanner model. I especially use it in 302, but in 301, I want to introduce it to you because it's so important to have some kind of, again, conceptual, step-by-step approach about what is this, integration, all right? Because there's a lot of famous people in our field. Okay, Repko, Newell, Klein, and they have their own processes. He distills them down to his 5 steps. We like it. We're going to introduce you to that. All right. I don't know, when I was learning how to drive back in 1973, I don't know, there was this one thing on a brochure, I'll never forget, it said IPD. And if you look up Family Guy, they do it in Family Guy too. IPDE, IPDE, and it was like identify, predict, decide, execute. And it's how you remembered, how to drive. You identify, predict, decide, execute, IPDE. So that's the type of thing that uh, I find it interesting in learning. It's always helpful to have these processes, and Tanner model is a good one for that. Okay, let's see. Mm, mm, mm. All right, then there's a Module 1 assignment, the IDS degree program internet research paper, and then there's a reflection. And my video 2 will get into much more conceptual detail, especially about Module 1. There are 6 modules. Again, I reserve the right to maybe eliminate an assignment later on and then disperse the points differently. You'll know about it. I don't really want you to work too far ahead because A, I won't look at the work until we get to it. And B, it's just not a race to the finish line, okay? Absorb the material, get to the readings. I did have a critique in one of their classes about, well, he doesn't talk enough about the readings, and I feel like I'm self-teaching it. Well, these videos of mine are not required, and most of my colleagues don't do them, okay? So there really is never a chance that we can sit back and talk about the readings. I will talk about the readings when I put the next video up. It probably won't be till Friday or Saturday. This Thursday start date kind of messes up the sequence. We've got 7.5 weeks to work with approximately. So we'll try to space it out accordingly. But again, it's all about the organization of the course, okay? So that you just don't get a big splash of info and say, here, do it, all right? Chronological. So be smart about that and you'll be okay. An important thing is, did I do Easter egg number 1? Yeah, ask your instructor. Look at me saying it again. Easter egg number 2, IDS equals integration. All right, so Easter egg number 3 is going to be what you'll hear me say quite a bit. Forks up, right? That's the ISU thing. Most of you know that. Wherever you are in the country and the world, okay, be proud to be a Sun Devil. It's a good thing to be. But let me know if you have questions, comments, concerns. I don't mind. I don't have a community forum in these classes. My colleagues like, why? I go, well, you might as well come to me. And I don't know, like some of my colleagues have 300 students in a class. Obviously they're going to get overwhelmed. You can ask me, what the hell else do I got to do, right? I mean, it's the pandemic. I don't do anything. I don't go anywhere. I have a social life. I'm getting a dog, though. Hopefully before this class ends, that'd be nice. All right, you guys and gals, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to IDS 301. And see you on like Friday, probably. Wait, no, today's Wednesday. No. It's like Saturday or Sunday or something like that. No worries. Let me know if you have any questions. Seriously, have a good one.